Today, I want to talk about something scary: fear. If there's one thing that holds us nice guys back from getting the life that we want, it is fear. Fear is the filter that every decision that is made by a nice guy is filtered through. There is a fear of anticipation, imagining failure, rationalizing why they don't want to do something, and getting comfortable. So, nice guys have a less than satisfying life because they're afraid. They're afraid of being exposed as a fraud. They're afraid of not meeting expectations or losing control. It is the number one thing that nice guys need to learn to manage, or else, like a nice guy, they're always going to come in last. Welcome to the Nice Guy Show. I am your host, Chuck Chapman, and I'm joined by my co-host, Faisal Coker and Ari Graff. And we're nice guys coaches who help other nice guys transform into integrated men. Now, fear is a tricky thing. On the one hand, it's healthy because it keeps us from doing stupid things, falling into danger. But on the other hand, it holds us back from living the life we want. I can't even imagine how my life might be different if I hadn't let fear control me for so long. Now, yesterday I was thinking about a bold request that I made recently. I had given a proposal as a leadership position for an organization, and I made a bold ask. And since I haven't heard back from them, I started questioning my proposal and wondering, gee, was that too much? Maybe they don't like me. Maybe they aren't going to like me. Maybe they're going to spread rumors about me. And I started worrying about like other opportunities closing as a result of this. And I started to realize what I was really going through was I'm anticipating something happening as a result of a request that I made. And there's so many times in my life where I have been afraid of something. I started thinking about maybe I should go back to them and, say, oh, I was thinking about this and that's too much. And let me renegotiate what I had said. And then I was like, no, just hold on to that. Like what you made was a fair request, and just wait. And if they don't come back to you, that's their loss. So fear, as a nice guy, I'm just curious, how has fear impacted you guys, especially like in your decisions? How's it held you back from pursuing things in life that you truly want? Ari, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like my life is ruled by fear still quite a bit. Definitely more than in the past. I think it's held me back from making a career shift. I think that took a while because I was afraid that if I went all in on coaching or nice guy coaching, that I would fail. That's why actually I needed a coach to help me make that move. I mean, that's an example of something big that that I resisted for a while. So I still feel like fear is kind of present with me all the time. I'm just making a lot more conscious decisions to do something different. It's that whole feel the fear and do it anyway approach. So that is helping me.
How about you, Faisal? Has fear impacted you?
Of course. Fear impacts, all of us. But yeah, fear has played a huge part, like Ari was saying as well. And when I'm in fear, I'm in cowardice energy. And when I'm in cowardice energy, it's, I see everything else, everything I want, but it's that me being that coward and not accessing my courage side frustrates me, gets me angry, gets me annoyed. I'm like, I could do a lot more, can be moving forward. And what happened in most of my life was because I was ruled by fear, and fear meant cowardice to me, that when things changed in my life wasn't because most of them because I chose them, most of them because they hit rock bottom, and that forced me to change. So what happened was I didn't always have the courage to make those bold moves or changes, and that to me just felt like I wasn't achieving all the things I could potentially achieve. And it got to a stage where in my life I was like, okay, rather than circumstances pivoting for me, let me see if I can make some changes. And there were some things I took some bold courage in, things I thought, I could always, I'm going to win at. But then I started to enter a lot of places where I just kept failing, and I just kept going on. And I knew one of the things I was terrible with social skills, attracting women, approaching women, talking to people, just being really socially fluid. And I knew the only way to overcome this was to overcome my fear, right? Step into my courage energy and just kept failing nonstop because I knew that everything I wanted, as I say, is on the other side of fear.
Yeah. One thing I was recognizing, at least in myself, is that fear is always me anticipating the worst case scenario or rejection, or it's an anticipation. Is that a word? Anticipation? Anticipatory? It's me anticipating something like being rejected or being told no or failing. And not that fear isn't legit, because there's been many times I've tried things that I've failed, or been many times that I've tried things and I've been rejected. But my brain is telling me, if you do this, you're going to fail, you're going to get hurt, you're going to do this kind of thing. And so I'm always anticipating. So the anxiety that's in me is this anticipation of something bad happening. And I just realized this kind of recently. If I'm anticipating something bad happening to me, then I'm always going to feel this sense of anxiety. But if I'm anticipating good things happening to me, which is kind of the opposite of, I sort of discount all of the good things, as being a little bit like mundane or something like that, like just celebrating the fact that like I have, shelter and food, and, I have a car to drive, and I have a lot of, privileges, being the United States, being, male, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we have privileges as that. So why am I constantly anticipating the bad outcome? So when you guys think about, like, let's say you're going to make a bold request of somebody, what process do you go through when it comes to fear and self-soothing and making a bold request? Because I think that's one of the things that nice guys, we're not just bold requests, but any request at all. This is what I want. Can I have it? What have you done? Or what would you coach other men on when it comes to making an ask or a bid for something?
Count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and say, hey, Chuck, can you pay for my holiday?
Yeah. Okay.
And can you?
And if I said no, he would just.
That's okay. One of, and the thing is, that's one of the things I realized was just make some bold request. And see, the more what I noticed was the more codependent we are, the more we worried about their reactions, and the more we are so emotionally connected to their reactions that we're gonna just navigate that around. But I better not upset them, not better say anything like that. And you learn this when you start to go and talk to women and ask for their number, right? It's like the most painful thing to do is like, okay, one is I'm going to go up to a girl and ask for something, and then I'm going to have to, just talk to her, and then I'm going to have to ask for a phone number. And most guys, this is where they cow us out. They're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I mean, I've done that. I was like, oh, but I don't ask for the phone number, because if I do, then I'll know the truth, whether she likes me or not.
Right.
And I can't stand the fact that she might actually say no. And if she says no, I'm going to internalize that actually I'm the problem. So what I'll do is I'll play it safe, right? So how do I get the guys over this? It's one of the things is, you know what? If you want to, I wrote this the other day. If you want to go from good to great, fail fast and fail often. If you want to go from good to great, fail fast and fail often, and keep failing, because it's the lack of failure that results in the lack of success.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that. Like I was just explaining that to my son this morning. Is just building up your failure tolerance, and also just reframing failure as part of success. That it's a learning experience, and that you need failure in order to learn success. So that's part of how I get through this. The other thing is just like having daily practices where I do hard things. It could be taking a cold shower. It could be like at Taekwondo, like we're doing all these like spin kicks and they make me dizzy. And I'm afraid to do too many, but I need to push through that. So like always being willing to do hard things like that's part of who I am now. So make that identity shift. I do hard things and make bold requests of yourself. I'm the guy who runs marathons. I'm the guy who,
Spin around. Can spin around 1,000 times. Can you send us a video of that?
I will.
I want to see that one.
I'll do that. So, yeah. How many times are you willing to spin yourself around? How many times are you willing to do the hard stuff? Ask yourself that.
One of the things I've been thinking about recently is like I said, the anticipation. But what if for example, I'm sitting at a table and, with my family and we're eating and I ask somebody to pass the salt. Okay. There's no fear around that, but I've made this request, right? But if I sat there thinking about it, like, oh, if I ask them to pass the salt, and what if they say no? And what if they look at me weird, and maybe it's better just to not have my food salted, and I'll just go ahead and eat it the way that it is, even though it's kind of bland. And I'm going through this whole process in my head, and then pretty soon I don't make the ask. That would be ridiculous, right? But we do the same thing when it comes to other things in our life. So I started this practice of when I make a request and a bold request, it's like I'm asking for someone to pass me the salt. Of course they're going to do it, right? And if they don't, okay, well, I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk over and I'm going to grab the salt myself. Like I'm in control of this. If I can just look at every request, especially the bold ones, as simply me asking for somebody to pass the salt, like how would that change how I show up in the things that I ask for? Ari, you're smiling. I think you got to.
Well, I was thinking you grab salt by the balls.
You grab salt by the balls. Okay. Yeah. And you don't let it slip through your fingers. You hold on tight.
You sure we're talking about salt here?
I know. Leave it to Ari to bring it back to the.
It always comes back to balls.
It's true about I think one of the things about unsuccessful individuals is that when they get that pushback, when they get that rejection, they just give up. It's like, okay, I'm not going to keep attempting. Whereas what I see in successful men, what they do is rejection, cool, no problem, carry on. Right. It's that relentless, energy they have. The guys who give up, I call them beta energy, like beta males. And what I mean by beta males is buckles easily to adversity. Yeah. That's what beta stands for. Buckles easily to adversity. As soon as there's adversity, they buckle and they're like, no, can't do it anymore. Right. And I've been in that situation as well. So now it's like, you got to be like a pit bull, like put your teeth into it and stick to it. If it's going to be, the road to success is messy. This morning, my son was like, Dad, I'm really confused. I don't know what to do. He's just finished his studies. And he's like, where do I start? And he goes, look, I have these courses. I've done a few studies. And I don't know where to start. And it's so confusing. And I said, the road to success starts messy. It's not always clear. And that's the whole point. That's what successful people do, is they can go through that mess. And it takes a strong nervous system. I call it the nervous fracture. If your nerve fracture is weak, what happens is that you buckle easily. If you have a strong, composed, that anytime there's adversity, you'll pass through it, and you got to pass through it. Remember, and my son keeps on repeating this: you eat what you kill.
Yeah.
Here's one thing that I was thinking about today was just like, I was afraid of doing a podcast. I wanted to do one, and then I felt really grateful when you guys asked me to be part of this podcast. but I've had such a fear of like somebody attacking my reputation because of something I say, or just being part of male-oriented podcast, or, you know, any number of fears. The reality is nobody gives a shit. You got to get really big to just get the haters.
Yeah, for sure.
And so nobody gives a shit about your failures either. If they notice them, it might be for a few seconds, but people are too focused on themselves, just like we are. We're too focused on what happens in our little life, in our little head.
You know, I was afraid of starting a podcast on my own, so that's why I said, Chuck, do you want to do it with me? Because I'm like, well, yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, one of the things I do like to do is I want to do things. I want to get things done. But sometimes what, you know, nice guys like to do is just do it completely on their own. And, you know, we're tribal people. We are social creatures, and we can derive strength in numbers. You know, so for example, like 3 of us doing this, yeah, okay, it's a great love and support that we have for each other, and then we can hold each other, because when you try to do things on your own, it's very, very difficult. And I think a lot of society is now gearing towards, you know, do everything on your own. And I think that's why it allows the fear to take up. As much as fear is contagious, so is courage.
Yeah, I think those are great points, you guys. And I just want to make a request of those that are watching this on YouTube or listening to this on your favorite podcast. I want to make a bold request of you. I want you to like and subscribe and share this content with other people. Would you do that? Would you please just give us a thumbs up? And if you're, like I said, if you're listening to us on your podcast, like, rate us, give us a good rating. And if you're watching on YouTube, comment, let us know. What do you think about fear? And if you like this episode, check out Why Nice Guys Love to Be Victims, episode number 38. Be sure to check out our website, niceguyshow.com. You can connect with us there. You can connect with us in the comments. And with that, I just want to say thanks for taking a moment to be part of our lives. And we'll see you next time on The Nice Guy Show.
You've been listening to The Nice Guy Show with certified Nice Guy recovery coaches Ari Graff, Chuck Chapman, and Faisal Kokar. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can listen to our latest episodes, and visit us on www.theniceguyshow.com. If you have any topics you'd like to hear us discuss, send us an email at support@theniceguyshow.com. Thanks for listening.